All right, guys, so today we are going to do a basic introduction into reloading. The great ammo shortage of 2020 has spilled over into 2021, and prices are high. So prices are going to be high for reloading components as well. For instance, one of the components that you would need that's the hardest to find right now is primers. And primers used to go for $35 a box of 1,000. They're currently selling for $300 to $400 a box of 1,000. That's pretty high. I was able to find these for $75 on a local forum, and I bought the 2 boxes that the guy had. So, is it worth getting into reloading right now? Yes, I think that it is. I think that it's good for people to get into this now, and as components start becoming more available and prices go down, you'll be able to use this skill to build your own ammunition and have a little bit more self-sufficiency when it comes to it without being reliant on major manufacturers to push it through. So, during the last shortage of 2012, I stockpiled bullets and powder and various other components, and I was able to use those over the span of the past 10 years or so. So, each person is different, but I do think that it's worth getting into right now. So let's just go through the very basics of reloading. In this video, I'm going to try to keep it short. So in terms of a round of ammunition, when you go to the store and buy a box, this is what you get, right? Well, there are 4 main components to ammunition. You have your primer in the back, you have the brass casing itself, you have the powder inside the brass casing, and you have the bullet. The primer ignites the powder causes enough combustion to push out the bullet, and of course it leaves the barrel from there. So those are the 4 main things that you need. If you are going to get into reloading, the easiest way to do it would be just to buy a simple single-stage press like this Lee reloading kit. Now this will come with pretty much everything that you need, and I say pretty much because there are still a few additional items that you will need that it does not come with. So for one, it does not come with dies. You need a set of dies for each individual caliber that you'll be reloading. Each set of dies, depending on which type you buy, will come with at least 2 or 3 of the main ones. So for instance, this one here is your bullet seating die. This one here is to remove the primers. And this one here, this one here is to crimp it. And to crimp the casing means that your bullet will go in here, and that die will press the brass around the bullet and hold it in with much more force. So you'll need the dies, and I'm not sure what the current value of those are. They used to run roughly $40 for a set of dies. But once you have them, they'll last for a lifetime. So they'll need dies. The next thing, now the kit does come with a analog scale, and those are the types that you need to move the marble up and down this ladder almost in order to set it. They're kind of a pain to deal with, and the one that it came with was somewhat fragile. So what I ended up doing was I just opted for a simple digital scale. Now this is a Frankford Arsenal scale. They run roughly $35, and they're just so much easier. They're so much easier to use. So I highly recommend ditching the analog scale and just buying a digital one. It will save you a lot of headache and time. All right. Next thing is digital calipers. You're definitely going to need these because you need to check the overall length of your casing after you seat the bullet, and you also need to check the length of the bullet as well after you resize it. So you will need some digital calipers. These are a set of Hornady These run in the ballpark of $25 to $30. And again, I've had these for well over 10 years at this point, and they're still running just fine. Now this item here is something that you won't need immediately, but it is something that I recommend you having and keeping around. So what this does is, it's called a bullet puller, right? So when you're seating your bullet, you will inevitably at some point during your reloading sessions seat the bullet too deeply in the casing. And in order to fix that, you're going to have to pull the bullet back out. Well, this bullet puller here will come with several dies for both rifle and pistol cartridges. And so what you do is you put the butt of the casing through the die, and it will hold it there. You'll drop it into the bullet puller, lightly screw on the cap, and give it a few light taps, and that kinetic energy will pull the bullet further out of the casing. So that is something that I do recommend having, and it's been invaluable over the years. Lastly, and I cannot remember if this came with the kit or not since it's been so long, but you'll have to buy more of this, and you really only need to use it for rifle cartridges. But what it is, it's a lube so that your brass casings do not get caught in your dies, because if you don't lube them, that's what will happen, and it becomes very difficult to get them out once they're stuck. So having some of this on hand is a really good idea. And again, you don't need it for pistol cartridges, but you do need it for rifle cartridges. Anything with a shoulder, I believe, is what they recommend it for. So keeping some of this on hand, especially if you're reloading rifle, is a must. But everything else, the kit will come with, right? So you've got your powder dispenser, you've got your primer dispenser, and of course your press, and then little pieces like this, which is for seating the primer. You'll have one for large primers, one for small primers, and that's really everything that you need. And it's not super hard to get into. We're going to be doing a series of videos on this, and the next step will be processing brass, because that is the first step into reloading. So join us for the next video where we will discuss that. And if you have any questions or comments in the meantime, please reach out to us in the comments section below. All right, thank you for watching.